create that project structure. So you have to create multiple packages here. Package structure com dot application name or organization name. So organization name ds dot supercar. This is my base package name. This naming convention I want to use. And for controllers we have to use package name. It's your wish. You can use controller also. For controllers, web. I want to use naming convention here, web. One web package for controller. Create one BO package for business classes. Create one repository for Is there any difference between repository and DAOs? Repository and DAOs. When you should use DAO, when you should use repository? Or both are same? Actually, while making JDBC applications, better to use naming conventions like DAOs. For ORM, repositories, but it is not actual standard. Okay, the difference what they used to call, if it is a DAO, it is a database centric. If it is a repository, it is ORM centric. Means database centric means directly if you are doing database operations, then you can call it as DAO. Through ORM if you are doing, then you can call it as repositories. Okay. Repository simple definition is what? A storage, right? So here Hibernate classes also they can hold data, right? Default caches they can maintain. So temporary storage they will maintain, right? So then shall we call them like repositories? We can call them, right? But JDBC just it will access data, it will not maintain any repository, right? So JDBC classes if you are using for doing database operations, use DAO. If it is a ORM, try to use repositories. And in case of ORM, we require models, right? To make operations on repository, we require models. So create one model package. In this model, put your model classes. So for controllers we have web, for business we have BO, for models, for repository, for bean classes models. And anything required? Again, many subclasses, sub packages may required. Again, under web may have controllers, web may have validators, web may have command objects. Again, it may have different packages, right? And if you require any utilities, common utilities if you required, create one util package. Yes, for XML file and for properties files, use something like resources. And anything else? Resources you can use. Utilities, under utilities what we used to put? No, not that utilities. Application utilities we should put. For your application, if you require any utility classes. Like while making application, I used to put classes like whenever, I mean common class if you required, that common class if you want to use multiple times, and is there any some utilities configurations like in my application under controller class, my controller need to have one capability. In that application what we did, this controller need to have one capability. That capability is what? From which machine the request is coming, it need to find out. From which browser the request is coming, this controller need to trace out. How we can find? That browser can be any mobile, it can be any, I mean like it can be a like pad, what we can call them like tabs. The request it can be from any desktop browser, it can be from any like mobiles or the tabs or desktops. Request can be from any machine. That request I need to find out, and which type of device he is using, and how much resolutions he is using, that resolution sizes, and which browser it is. In that machine which browser he is using, Firefox or Chrome, or he is using Safari, that browser also you need to find. So your controller need to have that capabilities. So for that capabilities you don't need to write code, you can search utilities from Google. They are giving many utilities to find which type of browser it is. That type of utilities put under your util package. Common required things, multiple times if you want to use it as a utility, you can put that utilities under util package. So first we should start from model part. Application building we need to start from model. After model, repository. After repository, BOS. The order is model first, DAO next, repository next, BOS. The next BOS we need to build. And if you have any services also we need to build, right? So for services again one more package. Services. Again services may divide into multiple parts. Transaction services, JMS services, security services. We have multiple parts. So first models, the next repository, BOS, services, and your required common utilities. Finally web. Finally web layer. After completion of complete business part, we need to go to web part. And views where we should put under? Web content is recommended location or web INF is recommended location? Web INF. So under web INF for each module we should create one separate view resources. So how many modules we have here based on actors? Based on actors we have how many actors? 4. End user, admin, manager, and a clerk. Driver is not user here.
Resource files also comes under web INF.
Not required.
Okay.
You can put under classes also. So end user, admin, clerk, manager. So these all are for view resources. Clerk, admin, manager, user. Yeah. Project structure created. create a main index page. Yeah. Then start from model part. So first model classes we need to write. By using what I need to write model classes? From my designing, I need to use my designings. From my designings, which classes I should use here to design models? In these models we have use cases and ORM classes, tables and schemas I have here, and class diagrams I have here, and these entity relations also I have here. So I should depend on what now? Entities. So the ORM relations I need to use here. So we have user ORM model. So for users, create models. User models. Classes you should write here. Again, can I create one more package here? For users, one separate model. We can create if you want to do. If you want to create separate packages. Again, if you want to share that model to one developer, you need to create separate folders again. Again, sub packages. Under model, one sub package for user model. So you can write user models here. User model classes are what? Let's start with the first one is users, right? User class. User class. Declare properties here. Private into user ID, user name, password, and date of birth, private, date, date of birth, gender, private string, gender, and we have to maintain set of addresses. You require to create a address class. Address is related under, yes, same in this user model itself, right? So create one more class, address class. We have user ID, username, password, date of birth, gender, address, along with getters and setters. And one more thing, yesterday we added some modifications. Have you made any modifications on user? Not on user, right? Just we changed two tables. One is booking record and one is confirmation and cancellation record. So generate getters and setters. Select all. So which one is preferable, annotation approach or XML file approach? But for ORM better to create XMLs. In future if you want to make any changes on your entities, through XML files you can make. Okay. So annotation approach is recommended for simple applications. If it is a simple application, you have 3 entities or 4 entities, it is fine. We have up to 20 plus entities, right? So better to use mapping files. Create user entity, user and address also created. Address parameters, address entity parameters, private, string, email, long, mobile, street, city, state, country, pin code. Then generate getters and setters. For what? Data type for string. Without string, then put string here. Change the set mobile method. Set mobile and get mobile methods. Okay. The next, employee. Under employee, employee join date and his role and branch. Branch ID we should maintain here or branch name we should maintain here? Branch ID should maintain here. Means the association with branch object. So one employee should contain one branch. One branch can contain multiple employees. So create here model employee. Create a model employee model. Employee model properties are private, date, join date and string role, and a branch, private branch. Data type itself branch. Branch. We have branch entity, right? We have one branch entity. Where we have this branch entity under? Under payment. Under locations we have one branch entity, right? So create one locations type here. Locations are places. One places package also create here. Branch. So an employee can have one join date, one role and one branch. Generate getters and setters. Then driver. Driver is a type of employee, is a type of user. The relationship is what here? Not one to one. One to one is different, inheritance is different. Both are looking like same, but the relationship are different. Extends user. Employee extend user. Now write one driver.